Your kidneys are at 27% right now, maybe less. You feel fine? No pain, no symptoms, nothing. That's the trap. Kidneys don't hurt until they're almost gone. No nerve endings inside renal tissue. Zero. You could lose 60% of kidney function and feel absolutely nothing. Walk around for years thinking you're healthy while your filtration rate drops point by point every single month. By the time you feel it, you're in my ER. And I'm telling you the three words nobody wants to hear. Irreversible kidney damage. I say those words every single week to seniors who ate clean, exercised, drank water, did everything right, and destroyed their kidneys anyway. Not with alcohol, not with drugs, with 5 things sitting in their kitchen right now. Things they use every single day, things they think are healthy. That's the part that makes me furious. 3 of these 5 poisons is in 93% of American households. Consumed daily, marketed as natural, labeled heart healthy, sitting on your counter with a clean label and a green logo, and it's shredding your glomeruli. The tiny filters inside your kidneys that keep your blood clean, once those filters scar over, they don't regenerate. Not at 60, not at 70, not ever. Your nephrologist sees your creatinine creeping up every year, notes it in your chart, tells you to drink more water, never once looks at what's in your kitchen because the system trains doctors to treat failing kidneys, not to find what's killing them. The food industry spends $18 billion a year making sure these ingredients stay on shelves. Stay in your pantry. Stay unquestioned. In this video, we will reveal all 5, ranked from damaging to devastating. Number 2 is consumed by nearly every senior alive, and the renal destruction data behind it is horrifying. Every reference is in the description. How old are you? Where are you watching from? Drop it. I read every comment. Now let's start with number 5. This kitchen staple dissolves your kidney filters so slowly you won't know until your blood work screams. Number 5, processed deli meats. That pack of sliced turkey, ham, salami, or hot dogs sitting in your refrigerator right now might taste convenient and delicious, but your kidneys see it as something entirely different. They see it as a direct assault. Processed deli meats are one of the most common yet most overlooked threats to kidney health. And the science behind this is absolutely clear. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed more than 63,000 adults over a period of 15 years and found that people who consumed the highest amounts of processed meats had a 32% greater risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who ate the least. That is not a small number. That is nearly a 1 in 3 increase in your chances of kidney damage just from eating processed meats regularly. So what exactly makes these meats so dangerous for your kidneys? It comes down to 3 main factors working together. First, processed deli meats are loaded with sodium. A single serving of deli ham, just about 3 slices, can contain anywhere from 500 to 800 milligrams of sodium. That is roughly a third of your entire daily recommended intake in just a few thin slices. When you flood your body with that much sodium, your blood pressure rises because your body holds on to extra water to dilute all that salt. Your kidneys have to work overtime to filter out the excess. Over time, this constant high pressure damages the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys, the ones responsible for filtering waste. It is like running an engine at full speed every single day without ever letting it rest. The second problem is nitrates and nitrites. These are chemical preservatives added to processed meats to keep them looking pink and fresh and to prevent bacterial growth. Research published in the journal Nutrients in 2021 showed that when your body processes these chemicals, they can form compounds called nitroamines, which create oxidative stress in kidney tissue. Oxidative stress is basically when harmful molecules attack your cells faster than your body can repair the damage. Your kidneys are especially vulnerable to this because of how much blood flows through them constantly. The third issue is phosphorus additives. Unlike the natural phosphorus found in whole foods, the inorganic phosphorus added to processed meats is absorbed almost completely by your body, sometimes at rates above 90%. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that high phosphorus intake was directly linked to faster kidney function decline, even in people who had perfectly healthy kidneys at the start. The researchers noted that participants with the highest phosphorus consumption showed measurable drops in their glomerular filtration rate, which is the key number doctors use to measure how well your kidneys work. So what should you do instead? The simplest swap is to replace processed deli meats with fresh cooked chicken breast, turkey breast, or fish that you prepare yourself at home. When you cook your own protein, you control exactly how much salt goes in. You can use herbs like rosemary, fine garlic powder, and black pepper to add flavor without adding sodium. If you absolutely must buy prepackaged meat, look for options labeled low sodium and nitrate free. And always check the nutrition label for phosphorus additives, which sometimes appear as ingredients starting with FOSS in the ingredient list. Even making this one change, cutting out processed deli meats, can reduce your daily sodium intake by hundreds of milligs and take a real measurable load off your kidneys. Now let us move to number 4. And this one is going to surprise a lot of you because most people think it is healthy. Number 4, certain canned vegetables and soups. This might sound strange at first because we have all been told to eat more vegetables, and that advice is absolutely correct. Vegetables are wonderful for your body, but here's the catch that most people miss entirely. The canning process can turn a perfectly healthy food into a kidney-damaging nightmare, and it all comes down to what manufacturers add during processing. A study published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition analyzed over 100 popular canned food products and found that a single can of soup contained an average of 1,400 milligrams of sodium. Some brands went as high as 1,800 milligrams per can. To put that in perspective, the American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, with an ideal limit of 1,500 milligrams for people concerned about blood pressure and kidney health. That means one single can of soup could max out your entire daily sodium allowance in one sitting. But sodium is only part of the problem. Canned foods are also one of the biggest hidden sources of a chemical called bisphenol A, commonly known as BPA. This chemical is used in the lining of most metal cans to prevent corrosion, and it leaches directly into the food inside. A 2022 study from the journal Environmental Health Perspectives measured BPA levels in over 7,500 participants and found that those with the highest BPA exposure had a 27% increased risk of developing reduced kidney function. BPA acts as an endocrine disruptor, meaning it interferes with your hormones and it creates inflammation in kidney tissue that accelerates damage over time. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University also found that BPA exposure was associated with higher levels of albumin in urine, which is one of the earliest warning signs that your kidneys are starting to leak protein they should be keeping in your blood. On top of sodium and BPA, many canned vegetables contain added phosphorus preservatives, just like processed meats. Canned beans, canned corn, and canned peas frequently have sodium phosphate or sodium phosphate added to maintain texture and color. As we already discussed, these inorganic phosphorus additives are absorbed at extremely high rates and put direct strain on kidney function. A clinical trial published in the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology took participants and simply switched them from a diet high in phosphorus additives to one using natural whole foods. Within just 3 months, their blood phosphorus levels dropped significantly and markers of kidney stress improved measurably. So the solution here is not to stop eating vegetables. That would be terrible advice. Instead, the best approach is to buy fresh or frozen vegetables whenever possible. Frozen vegetables are picked and flash frozen at peak ripeness, and studies show they retain just as many nutrients as fresh ones, sometimes even more, because they do not sit on shelves losing vitamins over days. If you do use canned vegetables, there is a simple trick that makes a huge difference. Drain the liquid completely and rinse the vegetables under running water for at least 30 seconds. Research from the University of Tennessee showed that this simple rinsing step can reduce sodium content by up to 40%. For soups, consider making your own using low-sodium broth, fresh vegetables, and herbs. It takes barely more time than opening a can, and your kidneys will thank you enormously. Also look for cans specifically labeled BPA-free, as more manufacturers are switching to safer linings due to growing public awareness. The next one on our list at number 3 is something millions of people consume multiple times per day without a second thought. Before we jump ahead, press that like button and subscribe so you're here for the next breakthrough tip. Number 3, sugary soft drinks and fruit juices. If there is one item in your kitchen that your kidneys wish you would throw away today, it is that bottle of soda or that carton of store-bought fruit juice. Most people already know that sugary drinks are bad for weight gain and diabetes. But what very few people realize is just how directly and aggressively these beverages attack your kidneys specifically. A groundbreaking study from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology followed over 15,000 participants for a median of 9 years and found that people who drank 2 or more sugar-sweetened beverages per day had a 61% higher risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who rarely consumed them. Let that number sink in. A 61% increase in kidney disease risk just from drinking soda regularly. The primary weapon in these drinks is fructose, particularly high fructose corn syrup, which is the dominant sweetener in most sodas and commercial juices. When you consume large amounts of fructose, your body metabolizes it primarily in the liver, producing uric acid as a byproduct. Elevated uric acid is a direct kidney toxin. Research published in the journal Nephrology Dialysis Transplantation showed that high uric acid levels cause the tiny blood vessels in your kidneys to constrict and harden, reducing blood flow to kidney tissue and triggering inflammation at the cellular level. Over time, this creates scarring inside the kidneys that permanently reduces their ability to filter blood properly. A 2019 study in the journal Kidney International followed 30,003 participants and found that each additional sugar-sweetened drink per day was associated with a measurable 0.7 mole per minute decline in estimated glomerular filtration rate, the gold standard measurement of kidney function. That may sound small per drink, but over years of daily consumption, it adds up to serious, irreversible damage. And here is something that shocks most people. Store-bought fruit juice is often just as bad as soda for your kidneys. A glass of commercial orange juice or apple juice can contain just as much sugar as a can of cola, sometimes even more. The juicing process strips away the fiber that would normally slow down sugar absorption. So all that fructose hits your system in one rapid spike. Your kidneys get hammered with a flood of sugar they have to process immediately. The phosphoric acid found specifically in dark-colored sodas like cola adds another layer of damage. A study from the American Society of Nephrology analyzed data from 97 participants and found that drinking 2 or more colas per day was associated with a significantly higher risk of kidney disease independent of sugar content, meaning the phosphoric acid itself was causing harm. It disrupts calcium and phosphorus balance in your body and forces your kidneys into overdrive trying to maintain equilibrium. The best thing you can do is replace these beverages with water as your primary drink. If you find plain water boring, add slices of cucumber, lemon, mint, or berries for natural flavor without added sugar. Herbal teas, especially hibiscus tea, are another excellent choice. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that hibiscus tea actually has mild kidney protective properties due to its high antioxidant content. If you want fruit, eat the whole fruit instead of drinking the juice. So you get the fiber that slows sugar absorption and reduces the fructose spike. Now we arrive at number 2, and this is one that even health-conscious people get dangerously wrong. Number 2, excessive table salt and hidden sodium. You probably expected salt to show up on this list, and here it is. But the reason it ranks this high at number 2 is not just because salt is bad for kidneys. It is because the amount of hidden sodium in the average kitchen is so astronomically high that even people who think they are being careful are still consuming dangerous levels. A study published in Circulation in 2017 analyzed the diets of over 180,000 adults across 18 countries and found that the average person consumes about 4,900 milligrams of sodium per day. That is more than double the recommended limit and more than 3 times the ideal intake for kidney protection. Here is what most people do not understand about how sodium destroys kidneys. Your kidneys regulate sodium balance through an incredibly delicate system. When sodium levels in your blood rise, your kidneys have to retain more water to dilute it, which increases blood volume and raises blood pressure. High blood pressure is the second leading cause of kidney failure worldwide, right behind diabetes. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine estimated that excessive sodium intake is responsible for 1.65 million cardiovascular deaths per year globally, and many of those deaths involve kidney failure as a contributing factor. But the damage goes even deeper than blood pressure. Research published in the journal Hypertension in 2020 showed that high sodium intake directly damages kidney cells through a process called fibrosis, where healthy, functional kidney tissue gets replaced by stiff scar tissue that cannot filter blood. The study found that even in people with normal blood pressure, chronically high sodium intake still caused measurable kidney fibrosis. This means that even if your blood pressure looks fine on paper, too much salt can still be silently scarring your kidneys. The real problem for most people is not the salt shaker on the table. Studies show that approximately 75% of sodium in the average diet comes from packaged, processed and restaurant foods, not from salt added during cooking or at the table. Common offenders include bread, cheese, condiments like soy sauce and ketchup, breakfast cereals, and frozen meals. A single tablespoon of soy sauce contains roughly 900 milligrams of sodium. 2 slices of regular bread can add 300 milligrams. A frozen dinner can pack over 1,000 milligrams. These amounts add up shockingly fast without you ever touching a salt shaker. A clinical trial published in the Journal of the American Medical Association took participants with early-stage kidney disease and reduced their sodium intake to about 1,500 milligrams per day. After just 6 weeks, their kidney function markers improved, their blood pressure dropped, and the amount of protein leaking into their urine decreased by 30%. That is a remarkable improvement in a very short time from one single dietary change. The practical approach is to start reading nutrition labels on everything you buy. Look for items with less than 140 milligrams of sodium per serving, which qualifies as low sodium. Replace table salt with kidney-friendly flavor alternatives like fresh garlic, onion powder, turmeric, cumin, lemon juice, and fresh herbs. When cooking at home, add salt at the very end of cooking rather than during the process because your taste buds respond more to salt on the surface of food than salt cooked into it, meaning you can use less and taste more. Season generously with acid like lemon or vinegar because it tricks your palate into perceiving more saltiness. And now we have reached number 1. This is the most dangerous kidney poison in your kitchen and the one that absolutely nobody suspects. Number 1, excess added sugar in everyday foods. This is the one. This is the poison that nephrologists around the world are most alarmed about, and it is not even close. Added sugar, the kind hidden in your sauces, your breakfast cereals, your yogurt, your bread, your salad dressings, and dozens of other foods you eat daily, is emerging as the single most destructive dietary factor for kidney health in modern research. A massive prospective study published in the British Medical Journal in 2023 tracked over 15,000 adults for more than 14 years and found that those who consumed the highest levels of added sugar had a 105% increased risk of developing chronic kidney disease compared to those who consumed the least. That is not a typo. Their risk more than doubled. The mechanism behind sugar's kidney destruction is multifaceted and relentless. When you consume excess added sugar regularly, it triggers a cascade of metabolic damage that hits your kidneys from multiple angles simultaneously. First, chronic high sugar intake causes insulin resistance, where your cells stop responding properly to insulin. A study in diabetes care found that insulin resistance alone increased the risk of kidney function decline by 43%, even in people who had not yet developed full diabetes. Your kidneys are packed with insulin receptors, and when those receptors stop working properly, it disrupts the kidney's ability to manage sodium, water balance, and waste filtration. Second, excess sugar drives a process called glycation, where sugar molecules permanently attach to proteins in your body and form harmful compounds called advanced glycation end products known as AES. Research published in the journal Kidney International showed that AGs accumulate in kidney tissue and trigger intense inflammation and oxidative damage. The study found that participants with the highest levels of AGs in their blood had a 3 times faster rate of kidney function decline compared to those with the lowest levels. Third, high sugar consumption directly increases uric acid production. We mentioned uric acid when discussing sodas, but the effect applies to all sources of added sugar. A study from the American Journal of Physiology demonstrated that fructose from added sugars raised uric acid levels by an average of 1.5 milligrams per deciliter within just 2 hours of consumption. Elevated uric acid constricts blood vessels in the kidneys, reduces filtration capacity, and promotes crystal formation that can physically damage kidney tubules. The truly frightening aspect is how much hidden sugar people consume without realizing it. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 grams for men. But data from the Centers for Disease Control shows that the average adult actually consumes about 77 grams per day, more than double or even triple the recommended limit. A single tablespoon of ketchup may seem harmless, but it can contain around 4 grams of added sugar. A single cup of store-bought pasta sauce often delivers 12 grams or more. Many flavored yogurts, commonly promoted as healthy breakfast options, can contain 19 grams of added sugar or even higher amounts. Even granola bars marketed as nutritious and energy-boosting snacks may hide 15 grams of sugar in a single serving. These numbers might not sound alarming when viewed individually, but throughout the course of a typical day, they accumulate quickly. A little sugar at breakfast, another serving at lunch, and a few hidden sources in snacks and condiments can easily push daily intake far beyond healthy limits, without most people ever realizing it. What makes this especially concerning is that added sugars are often hidden in foods that do not taste particularly sweet. Salad dressings, breakfast cereals, flavored drinks, protein bars, packaged soups, and even some breads can contribute to the total. By the end of the day, many adults have consumed a substantial amount of added sugar without ever eating a dessert. The impact of reducing these hidden sugars can be remarkable. A 2021 clinical study published in the journal Nutrients examined adults showing early signs of kidney stress and dysfunction. Researchers placed participants on a diet that restricted added sugar intake to less than 25 grams per day. After just 12 weeks, the results were striking. Markers of kidney inflammation decreased by approximately 34%, indicating a significant reduction in the inflammatory burden placed on the kidneys. Participants also experienced improvements in uric acid levels, which returned closer to normal ranges, reducing a major risk factor associated with kidney strain and metabolic disorders. Perhaps most importantly, the participants' albumin to creatinine ratio, a critical measurement used to detect early kidney damage and monitor kidney health, improved significantly. This finding suggested that lowering added sugar intake may help protect kidney function and slow the progression of damage before serious disease develops. Based on these outcomes, the researchers concluded that reducing added sugar consumption was one of the most powerful and effective dietary changes an individual could make to support long-term kidney health. The good news is that fighting back against hidden sugar does not require a complicated diet. It begins with becoming a careful label reader. Make it a habit to check the nutrition facts panel on every packaged food you purchase. Pay special attention to the line labeled added sugars rather than just looking at total carbohydrates. Compare brands, read ingredient lists, and whenever possible, choose products that contain little to no added sugar. Small decisions made consistently, switching to unsweetened yogurt, choosing lower sugar sauces, or avoiding sugary snack bars can dramatically reduce your daily sugar load. Over time, these simple changes can help protect your kidneys, support healthier blood sugar levels, and reduce the silent damage caused by excess sugar consumption.